Now entering Nerdist.com.
I'm gonna go over here. Thanks, guys. Listen, we're having some troubles with Matt Gorley, who is shooting a Volkswagen commercial right now. I guess we know where his allegiances lie. With the Nazi car. If you drive a Volkswagen, you should feel a little guilty about it. Mercedes also. I'm not going to get into that. Anyway, so what I thought I'd do is I ran into some people back there who I think would be great co-hosts. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to audition a couple people to be co-hosts of James Bonding. The first people I'd like to bring out, it's a duo. They come as a pair. Please welcome Emily Gordon and Kumail Nanjiani. Guys, just sit here. This is the Gorley area. Oh, hello, Emily.
Hi.
Yeah, sit. Yeah, grab a mic.
Hello.
We don't have to get on this like we're doing a podcast because they can hear us fine. I don't have to be here. And I just hit my tooth. Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
Guys, what will you bring to the table for a James Bond podcast?
I really like the suits he wears.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I do too. This is great. Kumail?
I know what the bad guys in Octopussy are saying.
Oh, this is valuable information.
Yeah.
Are they saying what the subtitles say they're saying?
Sometimes not. Sometimes some rewriting happened after it was already shot.
Interesting.
What? This is amazing.
I remember when I was a little kid, I was watching that and they started speaking in Hindi, and I got so excited, and the subtitles didn't match, and I was like, they're lying to us. What else have they lied to us about?
Everything.
America's the enemy. And so there's...
Is that where you left
typical.
it?
Yeah, that's what and I was like, all right. No more James Bond.
If you get one thing out of James Bond movies, it's that America's the enemy. That's really what you should be getting.
Well,
even though he's British.
Exactly.
Emily, you've been on
I have
podcast.
been on, yeah.
You did Quantum of Solace?
I did,
Yeah.
Quantum of Solace.
That was a fun episode. And Kumail, you were supposed to be on an episode about License to Kill, and that's when I came up with the name for you, Kumail Non-Show-Uppy.
You know what? I think what I bring to the podcast then is that I come to the podcast. That's what I'm bringing.
That's valuable stuff right here.
It's a valuable skill. You know 2 languages, I show up.
I feel like we tried to do that a month ago, and you have yet to reschedule.
Oh.
Yeah.
So.
That is
Anyway,
true.
you guys look great tonight. How's everybody doing?
Let me handle it, Emily.
Okay, sorry.
You guys look great tonight. No, I really want to do it. Listen, I'm free now, and I can totally do it. Let's set a date and time, and we'll do it.
Didn't I just hear you in a real conversation say I'm leaving for all of May?
No.
Oh, no,
I'm
not at
here.
all. We're
I'm
here.
around all of May, is what I said.
You're
I'm
around
only-
all of May.
I'm only
like-
leaving for 1 week.
Guys, this is not for you. Don't worry about it.
This podcast is called Logistics, and it's just us working
Scheduling?
out people's schedules for a while.
You guys are both fantastic, and I would love to have Emily back on before I have Kumail on for the first time.
Fuck yeah, buddy.
But I'm going to let you guys go because you just did a panel. Thank you so much for being here.
Do we get fired?
Go.
Well,
You're
we're
both
done.
fired. I'm not hiring
I have so many
It's
opinions
okay.
on James Bond. Oh,
you. Ah,
Thank you, Matt.
thank you, guys. All right. Now I'm going to actually bring in, I do have an actual fill-in co-host. He was on the Tomorrow Never Dies episode, and because he agreed with me about Pierce Brosnan, I said, come on out here. Ladies and gentlemen, Jordan Morris. Jordan, please have a seat. Jordan also writes on At Midnight with me, which is a television show on the Comedy Centrals. Yeah, you should watch that.
Hey, Matt, how about that office we share?
Oh, boy. It's great.
We have so many inside jokes.
So, as a fellow Pierce Brosnan supporter,
Yes.
How do you feel about this news of Mrs. Doubtfire 2?
I mean, I just want to know more about Brosnan's character. How did he recover from the run-by fruiting?
What if he is traumatized for life?
Yeah, what if he screams every time he walks by a farmer's
The man
market?
can't go into a farmer's market on a Sunday. Do you know what that's like in San Francisco if you can't do that?
His life is a living hell.
But it's so nice of you to come out here, and you're one of my favorite guests that we've ever
shucks.
had. And I asked 2 of my most favorite guests to be with us today. They were on what I would say the most controversial episode of James Bonding, which was Goldfinger. And I had them go ahead and watch Casino Royale. And we're gonna get their thoughts on Casino Royale right now. Please welcome. You've seen them on the Food Network and on the Cooking Channel and on podcasts like mine and their own. Please welcome Allie and Georgia. Look at, we have name tags for you guys right here. Yeah, look at that. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, you should. I mean, technically, if you want to slide that over, give me Allie's. Yeah, Gorley died.
Matt Gorley's not here.
In a Volkswagen. If he does, I'd feel so bad. I take that back.
You're some sort of podcasting Nostradamus.
Oh no. Pete Holmes was never seen again.
You can will any podcaster to die.
Oh, this is great.
Look out, Grammar Girl.
Who?
Grammar Girl? That's like the most popular
Grammar
podcast.
Girl is a
Yeah.
podcast? I've
Yeah.
never heard of it.
It's like way more popular than all of our podcasts.
Oh, all right.
But you've never heard of it.
Probably why I've never heard of it.
Grammar Girl fans in the
house. Ladies,
Yep.
welcome
Thanks.
back to James Bonding.
Thank you.
We're terrified.
Yeah, we're terrified of you guys.
You guys were so mean to us
You
last
guys
time.
hate us.
No, I don't think it was them.
Can I just say that since we went on this podcast, if you Google us, it goes Allie and Georgia annoying is the first Google because of this podcast.
Oh, no.
You
Okay.
people did that
Yeah,
to them.
thanks so. Thanks, guys. Sorry
Was
for
it-
the dissent against Bond,
Was
but it
anybody
ruined our
here?
lives.
Was anybody here a vocal internet person who did not care for that episode? Just so I can see you in
Come
person.
on,
No,
let's see your
please
let's see your faces.
Oh, no one's admitting
You know,
that.
actually, because of my appearance on James Bonding, the first thing that comes up is Jordan Morris' Sex Machine.
Weird that that would
Naturally.
happen.
It is. It's really weird. I guess I just
mine
gave off that vibe.
Is just Matt Myron narcissist?
And the answer is yes.
Because we've all apparently Googled ourselves.
Well, yeah, you gotta check this shit out. You never know.
But welcome. Thanks
Thank
for
you
coming
so
back
much for
on.
having us. We learned a lot about ourselves and about your fans and
So-
about James Bond.
Can I just get it just as someone who did not notice the backlash? What was so controversial about the appearance?
Well, this gentleman knows. He loved it. Thank you, sir.
You're snickering like a
So
Muppet. up
they,
here.
Allie and Georgia had never seen a James Bond movie. So
I think that people thought that the James Bonding podcast was to talk about how great it was, and I don't
No,
think
it's
we
just to
got
talk
that
about it.
concept. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's either
Yeah.
we didn't get that or they didn't get that.
We came on to talk about issues.
Yeah.
and then we realized very quickly that that's not the forum.
I thought I would start them with Goldfinger, which is that's the standard.
It's the Bond movie with the most golf playing in it.
Yeah.
With an insanely long fucking
with the
golf scene.
Schlesinger 7, strict rules of golf. I love that movie. Matt Gorley is texting me right now, and he's gonna. I'm gonna have him call in
Oh.
as Ian Fleming. So you guys, I had you. Let me catch the audience up. Goldfinger apparently misogynistic. Maybe he turns a lesbian straight just by forcing himself on her in a barn.
In a bar.
Things I didn't notice
Oh God.
as a child. I just thought that's what you do to women. You go for a roll in the hay. Literally, that's what that meant to me.
You pin someone's limbs down in a barn, and the next thing you know, they're yours.
But they had fun. They just kept judo flipping each other, and then
Super
they
fun. It was
fell in
just
love.
Friendly
Right?
wrestling.
That's how relationships
That's how it works
work.
usually.
Is
That's
this
how my
why
mom.
I have not been in a fulfilling relationship?
Say, you might want to go back and relook at your strategy.
No, fair enough.
among
And on
other
your
things.
wedding night, you dunk her head in a trough. And then you're married, guys. It's just the birds and the bees.
But you guys saw what is widely considered as the best James Bond movie. It's got everything.
Oh,
It's
wow.
got the Aston
Is
Martin.
that really the best one? Is that
Well,
I'm
it's
not even.
widely considered. Guys, you can back me up on
It
this.
is
right?
the
To
considered
say
best one.
I didn't not like it, I just thought, oh, we're gonna dissect this. Let's get real. As a whole thing, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can see why people. But then you're like, but this thing happened, and I can't ignore that.
God.
All these people's families are missing their loved ones because you just mowed them down.
Yeah.
It sucks. Maybe I just think too much.
Hey, Matt Gorley.
Oh.
Let me put you on speakerphone. Go.
Hi, everybody.
Matt, we were just wondering if you happen to be around Sir Ian Fleming.
I'm told that he's here, but I have to put down the
phone because I have to go run an errand.
Oh, this is convenient, but also weird that you guys are never in the same place at the same time. But whenever you can give Ian the phone, we'll gladly speak with him.
Yeah, it's not weird. It's just coincidental. Coincidences statistically have to happen. So I'm going to set this down and just leave it running. And if anybody picks it up, there's just nothing I can do about it.
Oh, well, yeah, sure. Well, thanks, Matt.
Okay, well, I got to go. I'll put this down.
Well, I'll talk to you later.
Bye,
Okay.
Matt.
All right, bye.
Good talk.
I say, what is this device I see before me? Hold on. Tally ho! What is this? Don't you see I say, old boy, what, tally ho and all that?
Hello, Mr. Fleming. It's Matt from the James Bonding podcast.
This is Matt Corley? Who is this?
No. This is the other Matt. This is the Matt that you've met every time, because Matt Gorley is never around when you happen to be speaking.
Yes, I only remember things visually.
What? Oh, that's fair.
I say, I only remember things visually.
You only remember things visually. I understand.
Ian Fleming, can you put H.R. Giger on the phone?
What?
That was Jordan Morris. We were just here. We were just talking a little bit about Goldfinger, and.
Oh, yes, I died during the making of that, don't you know?
Yes, yeah, no, I was well aware. And we just wanted to know why did you think it was okay for James Bond to sort of just force himself onto a lesbian to make her straight?
Because, I don't like women or other races or anybody of any other persuasion than mine, you see.
Oh, so you only like white British males?
Absolutely, it's a bit of an agenda I have, don't you know?
It's an agenda you've really established well, and.
Yes, I'm not an amateur.
No, you're not an amateur. You're very much a professional, and we appreciate that. I mean, I love Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
I believe you mean Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
Yes, Chitty Chitty Bang Bang.
The book is called Gold Triangle.
What? Oh yeah, no, I know, but you did such a good job on the film adaptation of it that I just wanted to say you're really an inspiration to all of us here at WonderCon.
Yes, when I was writing the character of Puss Galore, I found myself channeling every bit Mother had. She was a musty old broad, and we kept her in the attic, but she was good for some resources, don't you see?
Yes, Ian. Actually, it's a little hard to hear you from the panel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you go shoot a Volkswagen commercial with Matt Gorley.
Oh, is he here?
I feel like as soon as I hang up, you'll turn around and he'll be there. You might have disappeared.
Maybe. No way to know. All right. Well, I wish you all well. I do wish that Matt Gorley could be there. I don't want to, but I wish he could be there.
Oh, well, I thank you so much, Ian Fleming. Ladies and gentlemen, please a round of applause for Mr. Ian Fleming. Bye, Ian, and say I'll call you guys later. It was fun.
Wow.
Bye. Tally ho. Tally ho. That was Ian Fleming, guys. Weird that I
Guys,
called
I'm
him.
getting a call from Robert Louis Stevenson.
Oh my God! Treasure Island's own.
Hello, it's me, Robert Louis Stevenson. What country was I from?
Take a wild guess.
I don't know, pirate country?
Eat like Somalia?
In my wildest dreams, Matt Gorley is like on stage right now, and he like called a timeout or whatever you do in the commercial to like.
He did
Make that
actually say
call.
that he was doing that.
Absolutely
He
did.
said that he had to
And
call.
everyone's
So he stopped the
watching him.
commercial to do that. But guys, let's get serious. So Goldfinger wasn't your favorite movie. So then I said to you, hey, why don't you do me a favor and all these people a favor and watch what is currently my favorite James Bond movie, Casino Royale.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? 2006
Yeah.
Casino Royale.
Actually,
Fantastic film. Really sets everything up in the right direction. And I feel like maybe it panned out exactly like I thought it might.
Let me look at my notes. Well, everyone said to us, you have to see Casino Royale. So there was like a
Yeah,
lot
they said you watched the wrong one, and we're like, oh, is he cool in the other movies? And they're like, yeah. There's usually a bitch that dies in the beginning, and then he kills a bunch of people, and we're like, okay, I get a formula here, but I feel like we went into Goldfinger never having seen a James Bond movie. All I knew is that like there's a silhouette and he's got a gun or something, and like there's
You
a
pretty much got
like
it.
I literally
That's pretty much it.
all I knew about it. So I was like,
That could also describe Alfred Hitchcock movies.
like Chicken and Turkey.
What's the first movie you guys remember seeing?
But going into Goldfinger, I think what was surprising to both of us is it was just like this time capsule of misogyny that was like really beautiful in its purity, but it was also revolting. They were just like from the get-go, you're just like, this is ridiculous. Like how is this made ever with anyone with a conscience? No offense, but no, I mean just
I
because
didn't
it's
make
crazy.
it. I
because
just
it's crazy.
consumed and enjoyed it.
It was crazy. But so you said watch Casino Royale.
Yeah, so I was
and-
like, hey, that was 1964. I get
Exactly.
it. Those were the times, you know?
So I
Welcome to
downloaded it.
2006.
I had no idea though, because when I downloaded it, I didn't know if Casino Royale was from like 52 or if it was like from 78. I had no idea. So I had to text Georgia and be like, what year is this? Like, is it? And because there's another thing called Casino Royale that came
yes,
up that
there
was like
are
a
3
parody.
filmed adaptations of it. Yes.
And I was really excited about the parody, and then I was like, shit, I'm getting
sorry.
the wrong one.
You had to
Can we
watch the
swear
real
on this?
movie.
Because I'm gonna.
Yeah, you
kid
can.
right
I mean,
there.
there's
I
a
would-
child.
Oh no.
But
And
you've
it
heard
says
swears,
here-
right, buddy? He's heard swears. He's good, right?
Don't watch James Bond. Like,
Yeah.
listen to me say the F word all day long.
Oh, is this what you're here to do? Is to say don't watch James Bond?
I'm just saying, if you want your son to be cool, like don't. Yeah, I'll
if you want your
teach him
son to be
all
cool,
the words.
watch all the James Bond.
Well,
Maybe,
Listen.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to be a
you
hater.
maybe you skip some of the lady interactions because you don't.
Oh,
Excellent.
Why? Thank you very much.
Well, there's some crossover.
Listen,
gonna say.
sir, if you want your son to be cool, have him watch Triple X starring Vin Diesel. And then Triple X State of the Union starring Ice Cube.
I
And
know,
if you want him to imagine what a fight would look like, watch all the Bournes. What? They don't-
If you
can't
want him
tell
to
us that.
imagine a fight and then feel a little bit nauseous.
But it's good that you guys are enjoying
just
the
teach him
James
that
Bond.
women aren't disposable objects.
Yeah, that's
is
what I
all
was
I'm
thinking when I was
What I
watching.
want to say to you, young man, is that you don't have to kill the first woman you sleep with in every movie. Sometimes they're just there to be loved.
I think that if a kid is, I was thinking about it, and like it's taught a lot of dudes to be gentlemen. Like Matt picked us up to come here, and
Yeah.
like most dudes, like meet me in my house, and like that's really nice, and
No.
you're a gentleman.
Is that James Bond or is that
I
just
think it's
like
a lot
cool
of
men?
James Bond, but then I think that you need a good like a lady example too when you grow up.
What do you
Which
mean?
I don't think a
What
lot
does
of
that mean? I need a good lady example?
like tripping out. Watch your thing
I
about
see.
cool girls.
Your
too,
television
you know?
program.
Yeah.
I will say that James Bond has made you a fashionable person, though.
Listen,
true.
I have a watch. It's an Omega.
I know. I went with you to buy this designer shirt.
I also
Like,
went to Barney's in New York and got the boots he wears in Skyfall.
Oh,
Boots, boots.
nice. Thank you. That was very
You can
gentlemanly
only
to put
you
your
can
shoe
only
in
you
my
deal
face.
with that. That's okay. You can only get these shoes, guys, in England or at the Barney's in New York. So I went to New York, and the first thing I did was get the shoes because I had to break them in. It all
Listen,
worked out.
I went to Tempe, Arizona, and got the wife beater that Vin Diesel wears in Triple X.
They still have them in stock.
It's in Tempe. You gotta go to Tempe.
Jordan, you've seen Casino Royale, obviously.
Yes.
You're a fan of it, right?
Yeah.
It's great.
I've liked all the Daniel Craig Bond movies quite a bit.
Yeah, they're all good.
I'm a Quantum of Solace apologist.
I am too, guys. It was only when I figured out you have to watch it right after Casino Royale. Otherwise, you forget what happened in the movie. I saw it once, and then 2 years later, I was like, did I see that movie? But then when I watched it right after... Anyway, let's check back in with these ladies.
Oh no.
So, Casino Royale. First of all, Daniel Craig. Hot or hot?
Biarf.
Allie didn't think so.
What is
What is happening?
What does yarf
You're
mean?
getting some applause from this woman
Nope.
over here.
Nope.
I have to disagree, and I
Nope.
did text. We were texting back and forth, and I was
that's
like,
right.
Think of him as like a football, like a soccer player.
Yeah,
because then you're like,
football
you're
you.
super hot and you're in a suit.
He's probably more of a rugby guy. He's got that
Man,
upper body for
I
it.
thought he was. This is Georgia for people listening.
So-
Please send hate mail to Allie.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I said.
So hang on a second. I just want to be clear on this. You don't think Daniel Craig is attractive?
I had some thoughts. One thought was his cool shades are like someone's stepdad went to Sunglasses Hut on his lunch break. Also,
those are Persal's.
I just don't like his face. He looks like a grumpy penis. Not into it. Also, he has a really prominent philtrum, which is this area of the face, and I couldn't stop looking at the ridges, and I was like, what am I looking at? He's so beige and shiny, and
This
I
is
just
amazing
didn't like
that
it.
you picked up on this watching
I
it
didn't
on
like
an iPad.
I know. I was watching on the iPad in the back of the car on the way down here, but I'm just saying that I just didn't. There's something so sandy about his appearance. Where he just looks
watching
like,
the beach scene?
No, all of it. He just looks like one of those guys who would just have like a thatch of sandy golden pubes, and I don't want him. I don't know. He's so white. I don't know.
Yes, he's very white.
No, I don't know. He just looked so
You wanted him to be
beige.
funkier.
He just looked very beige, but he looked angry a lot of the time.
Who's-
Probably if you were
in-
just like cool and like being like, "Hey, I'm shopping for CDs," and you were happy, I'd be like, "Oh, you're cool." But he's angry all the time. He just
What
looks
was
so
he shopping
grumpy.
for? Zines?
CDs.
If
I
he
don't.
did.
I don't know. I was just thinking of something you would do on a Sunday. Like if he were at a farmer's market smelling plums, he'd probably be cute. But he was just angry and always
So-
killing people.
What if James Bond hates his teeth and he doesn't smile ever because he's just like,
Oh
I
my
don't want to
God.
know. Like,
He's just so you're
That-
telling
all
me
the
James
time.
Bond is embarrassed by his teeth.
probably. He was
That
an
makes-
orphan, so he never got like braces. Probably. Right?
That's a good.
No, he comes
he
from
would
a
go
pretty
into
wealthy family.
Xanax,
Yeah.
you guys.
Okay.
He'd go into a room and they'd be like, and he'd be like, amazing. And, like,
Titanium.
Yeah.
Let me ask you. Okay, so if you don't think Daniel Craig is that, do you have who is like the James Bond you find the most attractive? Why am I asking?
I mean,
these?
I would have boned down with any of the weird,
Any of the weirds?
any of the weird poker players. But
Wait, what?
they were fine.
So you like a man with an eye patch and a scar.
I like a
Bloody
guy.
eye.
Yeah. I like a guy that weeps
Eyeball
blood.
was
I don't know.
bleeding.
Yeah.
That happened, right?
I don't know,
So
but
you're
he was
saying
like, he was kind of hot.
You would have gone. You would have taken giant African American gentleman
Sure.
over Daniel Craig,
Yeah, he looked less like a grumpy penis.
bleeding eye bad guy.
Yeah, but that
over
guy had
Daniel
depth.
Craig,
He just had some depth. I mean, he cried.
elderly Asian lady
yeah,
over
dude.
Daniel Craig.
Have you been with one?
Matt,
like
have you
to,
been
if
with
any
an
are out
elderly
there.
Asian lady?
Because yes, amazing.
The guy with the bloody eye just looked like Pete from Mad Men to me the whole time. So I was just like picturing that, and then
Well, the
eye started
hairline's
bleeding.
there,
Yeah.
certainly.
He
Yeah.
looks like someone's cousin that comes to a barbecue that you're like, would I? I guess. You know what I mean? Like, he looks like someone's like, I don't know.
Oh, those fuckable cousins.
I don't know.
Those fuckable barbecue
I'm so
cousins.
Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Do you have a cousin that you might be kind
You
of
should go
attracted
get a
to?
hot dog.
We've all been there, buddy. It's okay.
Look at his people that he's sitting with. They're
Oh,
cool.
it's
Fine.
normal.
Cool.
Oh, he's got some. What's up?
No,
not picking
I'm
on you.
embarrassed because
I think you're
I'm
amazing.
embarrassed
I'm
because
sorry.
Awesome.
I'm being like super. I'm being not appropriate
Vulgar.
for.
I'll give you $50 after this is over. I feel bad. You know what? Come here.
He's gonna do it. I swear to God.
Wow, he's peeling off a wad.
Oh my God.
For
Matt
the folks
is
at
giving
home,
him $50.
Matt Myra is handing a child a $50 bill.
This is what
I
James
want you to
Bond
buy
does
something
to
on the
you.
con
Oh
floor.
my god! I'm
Just to
so
show you that
sorry.
I was not picking on you. Enjoy that $50.
No,
love it.
if anything, I respect you more than most of the men in this room. Is the only
Again,
No
Allie
offense.
Ward.
They're all
Allie
here
Ward.
for you. They all enjoy you.
I'm gonna die so alone. It's not even. No, I just mean because he has a fresh perspective on things. Is all.
He hasn't been tainted by life
Yes, like most.
or
of
by
us.
women.
Ooh, no, you didn't.
Let's. I don't know
This
what's
is like an
happening.
episode of Married with Children up here.
I
Someone
do
cue
look
the
like
toilet
Peg.
flush.
Ow.
Sorry.
Okay, no.
I'm so sorry,
let's-
Georgia, that you have to be associated with me in
I'm
this
fine,
podcast.
good. No one-
I'm just
Let's,
gonna.
let's
it
go-
was an
let's-
amazing movie, though. I
let's
loved
discuss-
it, and
let's-
it was great. And I really love the sequel.
Let's discuss the movie for a second.
okay,
Okay.
yes.
So this movie, I feel like, has one of my favorite opening action scenes ever.
Okay.
Which is the parkour through the construction.
Yeah,
site.
yeah.
That
yeah.
was intense.
That
Yeah.
was intense, right? It was
But-
very enjoyable. Oh boy.
I didn't know why we were chasing this guy, right?
Yeah, you're supposed to figure that out.
No, so I didn't have like a commitment emotionally to this scene because I'm like, what if he catches him and he's like, oh, you're the wrong guy, never mind. And like they walk away.
Yeah.
That would be
That's a
the
good
worst
point.
action scene in history.
That'd be so great, though.
Oh, I'm sorry. The preceding 10 minutes were worthless.
That'd be so
yeah.
great if you're like, whoops, and then the guy, they like shake hands.
And they're like, why were you running? And he's like, I don't know, you were chasing me. Why were you running? Of course I was running.
I would love that if he just kept going into cul-de-sacs of action, and then he was like, oh, never mind,
why
and then
are-
he had to get out and then do another one. That'd be
Then
great.
do another one. Okay.
That would be great. But I do agree with Georgia. There was, yeah, I think you want to like have a little bit more emotion behind the fight scenes, and so sometimes when you're just like, I don't know, but you're like, I have an inkling that James Bond is going to win this fight every single time.
Yeah, and that's why we go to the movies. We root for the guy in the white hat.
I know, but yeah, so you're just like, okay, it's gonna happen, and they're gonna do like some stressful CrossFit for a little bit, and they're gonna.
It did look really good, I will say that it
looked amazing.
Beautiful. The whole, yeah. It
I
looked
liked when he
great.
drowned the Hesher guy in the sink.
But he didn't know how long to drown him for? Like, come on.
Well, I don't
Wait,
know.
what?
In the very beginning when he like.
Yes, when he earns his license to kill.
Yeah.
Okay, so he drowns the guy, but like we all know, like you got to drown him for a little. Like
I thought it was premature. I thought it was
Hang
premature.
on. So your problem with the opening
take that.
scene of Casino Royale is that he did not know to drown the man for longer?
Yeah.
Like
I
he's gonna
watch
Google it.
So many live death shows, and I know I've never drowned anyone, but I know
What
you need to
is
hold it there.
Was that like a deleted, like a lost episode of your guys' TV show where you learn how to make the perfect mojito and then how to drown a man in a subway restroom
No,
sink?
but I want that show so bad.
Yeah.
That'll be
Fun cocktails and then murder.
Yeah. It's
Bring
called
it.
Death Busters,
Okay,
and we
okay.
just try to kill someone each time.
I'd watch that.
But yeah, no, I was like, oh, cool, he just did it in the sink. But yeah, the guy popped
So
back
was there
up.
any sort of investment on your part being like, this is the first time, like, the character of James Bond, this is sort of his origin story? Was there any of
Nope.
that for you?
Oh, that's
No,
what that
I didn't-
was?
I didn't know what the hell was going on.
totally didn't follow
You know what I did? During the opening credits, the song was
The worst.
so memorable. I'm only going to say positive things from now on. The song was so distinct and memorable.
It was terrible.
And-
No, that song, I will go on record as saying that
What
song
was
is
that?
pretty shitty.
What
it
is
was,
it?
It was Chris Cornell. Of,
I was going to Shazam it.
Soundgarden.
I was like,
I
oh.
knew it was gonna be something I didn't
And
like.
it was very forgettable. Do you remember the song?
It was like-
Do you remember the song? No, you don't, because it's forgettable.
I
I thought it was so funny, though.
I think you just sang Pearl Jam's Vitology.
Same thing.
And
But
I was-
did you like the opening credit?
loved the opening
credits
credits,
situation
but
with
it
the cards.
ruined it,
and
but
it
the
ruined
song.
it. Oh, the song ruined
like if
the
that
credits.
were anything else, the most beautiful
Okay.
opening credit.
Let's
I
set
feel like that song is engineered neurologically to make everyone air guitar whether they want to or not. And I was like, I'm not even in control of my body.
So it's the musical equivalent of the brown note. Instead of incontrollable shitting.
You play air guitar, then you shit your pants.
That's
Go
something
back
we
and
can all
listen
get
to
behind.
it. Go back and listen to it. It's okay. So I was like, all right, what's this? And there was some black and white, but I did not know he was getting his license to kill.
Didn't get that.
Didn't really pay attention.
I was paying attention.
I think we have a lot of
No, I think that's great. and I'm
problems
glad
with the
that-
way you watched this movie.
No, I was most of the time I was texting Georgia to be like, this looks like my brother at a student film, and I had a brother, but I mean I don't have a brother, but but like the opening credits, they were black and white and they were moody, and I was like, all right, I get it.
I don't know what to do with
I'm
you
a
two.
horrible person.
Like,
sorry.
here's my problem.
I'm
I
such a
genuinely
jerk.
love you two as friends.
I know. I
But
love you
this
too.
might be the
Me
end.
too.
Two of us. Just the two
Yes,
of us.
of course.
No. I don't know
Okay,
what to do.
so,
because
okay.
This is like,
Hey,
this is
guys,
like if
guys! If Matt's disowning you as friends, do you guys want to come over to my house
Yeah,
and watch
yeah,
Riddick
yeah,
later?
Yeah, we
yeah,
got
yeah.
this.
No,
Okay,
here's
so-
the problem. This is like if you took me to a tomato convention and you were like, Allie, let's discuss these plate of juicy tomatoes, I'd be like, you know what, you guys, I hate tomatoes. And then everyone would be like, what? And then I'm like, I don't know what to do. I don't like it. And I'm trying so hard to find the good stuff because it's like he's your idol and you're wearing his watch. And I like you so much, but I think they're so cheesy. And I don't know. I feel like a real bad person. And I made a kid worry.
You, Allie. Okay, hang on. Name one thing about the movie you liked.
Okay.
See, here we go. I figured out how to ask questions.
When they went to Uganda, I thought the jungle was so pretty and it was just like so lush and tropical. I thought that was cool.
It was very lush.
Yeah, no, that was a very lush jungle.
I liked seeing the cobras and the ferrets. I thought those were cute.
They had a
It was a mongoose
Got it.
and a
they had
snake.
a ping pong. They had a ping pong table, and the guy let the kid finish the ping pong
pinball. Yeah,
pinball game.
pinball
That
was
was
cool.
Nice of him.
I liked the. The girl had nice boobs.
The girl had nice boobs. I think we can all agree.
If we're
What
gonna
about
be
when-
objective?
what
If we're
about
gonna be
when,
objective, she was nice looking. What did I like?
What about when Bond got testicle smacked with a rope?
She did not get there.
that
happens.
So hang on,
Wait,
let's
wait,
back
wait.
this up. Let's back this up. Here's what I wanted to tell everybody. Allie did not watch the last hour of the movie. But I wanted to ask her what she thinks happened.
Definitely nothing happens to Bond's testicles.
So let's set the scene for everybody at home listening and for our lovely audience here. Where you left off was James had it's the final round of the poker tournament, right?
Right, because he kept taking day-long breaks, and then he'd be in a rape shower, and I'd be like, what?
Now, this woman enjoyed the idea of a rape shower. What is going on?
I was
back
just
there?
like,
I think
wait a
the whole
minute.
audience wants a rape shower.
No, I mean after it, I was like, that looks amazing. But like, there was a poker game, and then they were in the stairwell, and I loved how the woman was just like, I know what I'll do. I'll push on this locked door several times forever. But I
Yeah.
did like that she was like, meh, I got your gun. But then afterwards, she was like, felt so weird about it. She was like in a full gown in the shower, which I've never killed anyone, but I'd at least take the dress off. Because I'd be like, and I'd be in a bath, to be honest. But I was just like, okay. Then they got in it together.
All
and-
right. So they got it together. He starts sucking on her
Yeah.
fingers. He's trying to absolve
Oh, I
her.
forgot about this.
Also, like, before I knew what the story, I'm like, she should just leave. She's just getting hired to work for this dude, right? As
Yeah.
an accountant. Like, go home and get a new job. Like, this sucks. Don't
Just
stick
go to the
around.
Treasury?
You don't want to sleep with this guy. And
Okay, so
Doesn't she, though?
Here's where we are at this point. Has everybody in here seen Casino Royale? Right? We're not going to spoil anything. Okay. So what? Now he's got to go back after killing the Ugandan drug lord. He has Mathis take care of that body.
Yeah. So what happens?
What happens next?
I wrote this while you're in the bathroom.
Okay.
Okay,
She
so
wrote down what she.
this is what I hope
Allie
happens.
Ward's version of the last hour of my favorite James Bond movie.
Okay. Okay, so James Bond plays and he loses the whole thing. And then he realizes that his ego did ruin it and he has to pay it all back like a student loan over like 20 years. And then he works for his dad's printing shop. I forgot he was an orphan. And then he reads this book on narcissism and he's like, oh my God, that's me. And then he online dates and he meets this really nice girl who works in like admin for a college. And then the girl with the chunky necklace.
Hang on. Let me read this for you.
Yeah.
Just I want your reactions to what
Yeah.
I'm reading
I like
from
this.
you. Okay.
Let's start with the girl with
Here's
the
Left off with chunky
Okay.
necklace.
So, let me just take this back for a second. So he's paid back the 10 million pounds.
Yeah.
Over 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's 500,000 pounds a year he's paying back.
Sure.
And he works for his dead father's printing shop.
I mean, something low key.
Sure. And he reads a book on narcissism and online dates. Where did he get the book?
He just like stumbles across this book
on
about like narcissism,
and then he
he's
starts
like,
online dating?
And
one
he's
of the
like,
jobs that
oh,
he's printing it.
Yeah,
It's like-
and he's like, you know what? I do have that. And then he's like, you know what? But I can get over it and really realize that my behavior affects other people.
Oh, but real quick. Guess who's dated a narcissist
Well,
before and wants them to change?
This does not sound like a great movie.
I'm an actor.
But I would rather watch this than any of the Transformers movies. This sounds much better.
You're not wrong, but you might be wrong this summer when Mark Wahlberg's in them.
I think I found a
transformer. So, okay.
Bobby, get over here. Bring Ma.
Yeah, these pieces of junk are going to put you through college. Transformer. I was at
Me and Optimus Prime are going to open up a hamburger stand.
Speaking of which, I work out at the same gym as Shia LaBeouf. Shia the Beef. King of the Beef. That's what his name means. And he was working out in jeans and combat boots.
And a paper bag that says, I am not fit anymore.
No paper bag. Just angry pull-ups.
Wow.
Anyway, back to Allie Ward's Casino Royale.
Or dressing down.
So then he begins online dating, and he meets a nice girl who works in admin for a college.
Sure.
What college?
I don't know, just something scholastic but not too highbrow. Just, she...
So not Oxford.
No, but just a nice college.
Like a
that
state
helps people
school.
Like
lives.
Hampshire.
Sure.
Hampshire College.
Sure,
Okay.
sure, yeah.
San Diego State.
San Diego State. Now the girl with
Go
the
beer bongs.
hang on, the girl with the chunky
mascot.
necklace. This is Vesper?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. The chunky necklace, which you describe as being from the Ren Fair,
It looks like it.
opens a jewelry shop on Etsy.
I thought that Ren Fair joke would have gotten more play here. Interesting. Interesting. Are you guys like, no, Ren Fair, those are dorks.
Hang on.
We would never be caught dead at the Ren Fair.
Well, guys, guess what? She figures out what happens to M here. So she opens up a Etsy shop for her jewelry, and
Yeah.
then Judi Dench
Yeah.
goes through menopause.
Sure.
And it almost breaks up her marriage, but she sees a doctor, and her husband takes her on a cruise, and they work it out.
Yep, that's the end. Wow.
Is this a movie you'd see? Or is this
how
just...
Stella got her groove back, right?
No, but I was just trying to wrap everything up in a realistic and emotionally healthy way. But I also, there were times during the poker tournament where, the woman in the blousey jacket would get up for their hour break, and I was like, can the camera follow her, and can we watch her eat some chips and, do some cool stuff and, have a convo about, tulip bulbs and then come back to the poker match? I was like, what's that lady doing?
So it's really...
I don't
it's
like
taken me
fighting.
this long to realize that maybe James Bond isn't for you guys.
Well, the whole time I was watching the poker scene, though, I kept thinking that, in another universe, but, in the same setting, is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is going on.
Sure.
The police commissioner that was on, on Casino Royale totally reminded me of the police commissioner on Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and, somewhere, Steve Martin is there, and,
That was Michael G. Wilson, the executive producer of the James Bond movies.
Oh, really?
Playing
I
we do a game on the old podcast. There's two games. It's Spot Michael G. Wilson and British Off, where we decide who is the most British person in the movie.
Oh, I like that one.
And I'm trying to think back on this one. Who's the most British person in Casino Royale?
It's a good question. I don't remember the movie.
It's
that
you know who it is.
well.
It's the accounting guy who talks about the shorting of the stock. He's the most British.
Well,
guy,
there's also
guys.
a Dame Judi Dench in
Yeah,
it, so I would
she's
vote for
pretty-
her.
Yeah, but she's not the most
Yeah,
British.
you're
She
right.
gets out-Britished every scene she's in.
You're right.
Because they bring in these people that you're like, that's a cartoon of a British person. That's not what a real British person talks like.
Yeah, some people just say bangers and mash. They have no other lines of dialogue. They just walk in saying bangers and mash.
There's
What?
there's a part of every James Bond movie that I like the most, and it's whenever James Bond shows up at a hotel, and
I did like that because I was like, ooh, I loved hotels.
So you like certain settings in the movie.
You like
the jungle, the hotel, places they go.
I was like, oh, vacation. And then I remembered, there's a gun in the envelope. And you're like, oh, there's so many guns. I just don't like conflict.
the movie
I know,
always
I know.
starts with a gun barrel.
You're handing me a plate of tomatoes. And I'm just like, I'm sure they're great. But it's the thing, this is a very true thing, but I just don't like I don't like conflict, and it bums me out to see people fighting, and I identify too much with the physical pain that they're in, so I'm like, the entire time let's watch a razor blade on someone's eyeball, and you're like, nope, but the entire 2.5 hours is that.
There's an
so
old saying about James Bond.
Yeah, Allie, don't watch it. That's
Yeah.
the saying.
The saying is that every man wants to be him and every woman wants to be with him.
I was thinking, like, when he was making out at the resort with the woman who was married to the dude, and like when he killed them both, or when they both died, I was like, that's an entire like generation of people dead there.
Hammock
like,
murder.
Maybe they don't have kids yet, and they were gonna.
So you guys are just worried about
Yes.
what happens to the bad people's
Yes.
families?
Yes, a little
After
bit.
James Bond dispenses with them.
Constantly. That's all I can think about.
There's a life snuffed out. If they had come across a book about risk aversion in a Barnes & Noble and then gone back to school and gotten a law degree, they could be doing great.
And even if a guy gets kicked in the face, it's like, well, that's going to hurt. Like, your
That's gonna
nose is
hurt.
broken, and maybe you're
I
going to
know
have
what
some,
you
like,
mean.
a concussion.
I think we've all been like in our 20s and we don't really know what we want to do with our lives. And you're like, maybe I should be a henchman for a while. Like maybe I should just find an evil guy, put on a jumpsuit.
I'm not kidding. One of the last guys I dated was like, I was like, what? We were talking like, what would be your dream job? And he's like, probably mercenary. And I was like, what?
Wait, what?
This is personal.
Someone that you dated's dream job was mercenary?
What did I say? What did I say?
He got me a sword for my birthday.
We are finding out a lot about why you don't like James Bond. And it's this sword guy.
Oh, no.
Hang on.
I just don't like
did the sword
conflict.
say Homer on it? Was he like, this is for you, but we could keep it at my place?
No, I just thought he thought I would like it.
I was there when he gave it to her, and I was like, just looking, like, she makes really high when she's, like,
I love it. Great.
I mean, I don't think this is like the crowd to sympathize with you. I bet there's a lot of girls in this audience who are like, I would love a sword.
No.
Love a replica of Legolas's ranger sword.
And
Boy, you
secretly,
are really
who
playing to
here,
the crowd.
who here has not wanted to be a mercenary like you guys?
Who hasn't wanted?
Maybe everyone does. I don't know.
You don't want to be a mercenary? You have no interest in that? Hang on,
What's
get
your
up
job?
on that microphone. We're going to interview you for a second here. Go over there, get
For
on
the
that
folks at
question
home, we are now
microphone.
about to interview the
Also,
one guy
now
in the audience.
I'm going to tell you now. I'll answer any questions you guys might have. I'll answer questions about Chris's bathing habits, whatever you need to know. Sir, what is your name? John.
Yeah.
It's a good, strong name. Good head of hair on you.
Thank you.
I like your beard.
Thank you.
I'm so far I'm liking everything about you.
You guys look
John, I
alike.
think you got a little too much gray on. I'm just going to be the guy who gives you a health.
You're gonna have to give him $50 if you keep going. So watch out.
John, you don't want to be a mercenary?
No, I like my job.
What is your job?
I'm an associate producer
Of?
of digital content.
By the way, the room groaned in a way only Southern California can.
Oh, of course. Associate producer.
Associate producer, they couldn't give you a pay bump, so they gave you a title.
Yeah, bro, he doesn't get health care, but he's going to produce. Yeah, I've been an
So
associate
you're an associate producer of
once.
some online content? That's cool. I enjoy that kind of a thing. I do that from time to time. I'll dust off my associate producer cap. What have you recently been working on that you're enjoying so much?
Well, I did something with Jessica Chobot a few months back, Player vs. Gamer.
Yes,
Games
Player
Live.
vs. Gamer was very good. I know Chobi.
Thank you.
Yeah, good job.
That was rec, because there's like 5 or 10 of us working.
Uh-huh. Nicely done, sir. So you like that job. You're happy.
Oh, no,
If
yeah.
I came to you and I said, listen, I got a 401k over here in Mercenary Land. Good
I'm gonna give you
retirement
some
plan. You know
cool
what we're going to do?
knives.
We're going to match whatever you put in, buddy. Say we knock off, let's say we radiate the world's gold, right? But we have a stash. We'll put in whatever you want 401k wise. So you get a share of this gold. We'll match it. Are you going to be a mercenary with me?
I can't.
You can't do it. You're going to just produce online content as the economy
He's a
takes a
man-
shit.
he's a man
And no
who
one can
knows-
afford to go
he knows
online
who he
anymore.
is.
Meanwhile, I have all the gold. John,
I can't kill anybody. It's just like my.
you're not going to
morality.
kill anybody. You're just going to kill who I tell you to kill. I don't want you out there willy-nilly killing everybody. I have like a couple of people I need you to take out, and your orders are kill James Bond on sight. It's pretty simple.
That doesn't
It's a
sound
good
simple.
job.
That sounds hard.
You know what else we have? Like a cereal bar. So like, you go downstairs.
You work at a fun.com lair.
Have
You'll
you ever-
sit on a yoga ball.
Have you ever seen what happens at Pixar? That's what happens at my lair. That's how we get around. We get around on scooters. powered scooters.
All the mercenaries are on a kickball team.
Oh, it is the best. We have a softball league that we play against other mercenary teams from other bad guys. Like we're playing Drax's team next week, and then Zoran's team the week after. It's really going to be a lot of fun. I think you should maybe reconsider joining us. You know what you can do? You can move your family into the compound.
No, it
John?
sounds like Rex Scorpio.
Well, yeah, it's a lot like Hank Scorpio. Yeah, don't worry about Hank. He's fine. We play him on Thursdays. It's part of the mercenary thing. So, John, I haven't convinced you to join the mercenaries?
Oh, okay.
All right, have a seat, John. John, you're not on board. That's fine. Does anybody else have a question? Yes, sir. You may go right over to that microphone and talk at us. That's how it works here. What is
I'm
your
really
hat?
sorry that I said that some of you guys might not be good guys. You're probably all really nice.
Yeah, they're all fucking fantastic people.
No, I just meant, you go through breakups and people get hurt. It's fine.
Allie, tell them all how long ago your breakup was.
Oh, I don't know, because there were so many of them with the same person.
Like the regret we're going to hear on the way, and like shame we're going to hear on the way home.
So many apologies.
Well, the beauty
So
of
many
this is
apologies.
that like this is going to be an episode of the podcast that goes out, so everybody's going to hear this. Sir, what is your name?
My name is Lloyd, and I'm an
Lloyd?
associate salesman.
Oh,
And I
Good
am
burn,
a graduate of a mercenary from Oxford. So.
Mercenary Oxford. They have a good program there.
I'm also very traumatized by Allie. So
That's nice, though. Couldn't get into Mercenary Harvard, but I get it.
You do what you can.
Yeah, I understand.
You gotta have a safety mercenary
Right,
school.
guys?
Mercenary school, you got to apply to them all.
I hear San Diego State has a great program.
You know what? It's coming along. Last few years, they've been doing some good stuff over there.
It's pretty good.
What is your question, sir?
Well, one, you look great, Matt.
Oh, well, thank you. It's a great question. Good statement. I appreciate that.
I'm also in the process of losing weight, but you've been so busy. But I remember you from the early episode of Nerdist.
Yeah, sure.
Of the podcast. And I just wanted to know where you got out of your shell from being the guy from the Genius Bar to now writing for At Midnight and being on stage and touring with Chris. I mean, how did you get from there to now? Because I would like some advice. For sure.
I always, whenever I was working at the Apple Store, that was never what I was doing. You know what I mean? So like after work, I would write, I would go do podcasts, I would go do open mics because I never wanted to be a genius. I think we all can agree they're horrible, horrible people.
Lots of bad piercing choices.
If there are some geniuses in the room, you know you're a horrible person. I was one of you. And I never.
You've got a screamo band. We know it. We know you've got a screamo band, and it's terrible.
And I never sort of stopped. I always knew what I wanted to do. I left Massachusetts to come out and do comedy, and I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And I did. I took the job at the Apple Store as a sort of a safety net. I was like, this is it. They got insurance. It's not Mercenaryville. There's not quite the 401k, but there's some stock options. So I went over there, and then as soon as I could go part-time, I went part-time. I didn't want to be there full-time, and I just figured out, listen, I can make this much money and live, I'll live. If it's uncomfortable, it's a little uncomfortable, and I'll just keep doing what I want to be doing. And I just kept my head down and just worked. And that's the best advice I've ever given or have gotten, is if you want to be doing something, do it. No one's going to stop you from doing it. They just might not pay you for doing it for a while. But do it, yeah.
That's very true.
That's it. Thank you for asking. That was a lovely question, sir. Hello, sir. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Has Cobra Kai seen you with that?
I ran away into
No,
here.
I understand.
Really quick, I actually have a weird 6 degrees of separation to the podcast. I went to high school with Corley's girlfriend.
Oh, did you really?
Really good friends, yeah.
She's great.
She is. Anyway, crap, what was my question?
I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You just wanted
when
to
are we
share
gonna
that
get-
thrilling anecdote. Wow, really?
I think it's interesting.
When are,
Do you have a podcast too?
Jordan, calm down. This is
Seriously.
not Max FunCon.
$50 each person.
when are we get more Phoebe?
More Phoebe? Good question. Mosier and I were going to do it this week, and then he was like, I got to go to... Let me do my best Mosier impression. I got to go to New Mexico. I got to go to George R. R. Martin's theater. He wants to see my documentary, so I'll be gone for 3 days. We were supposed to do it. So what we're going to do, I think we're recording on Sunday, so look for it next week. We're going to do a
shot.
feed. Yeah, Canadian Sniper. Hello, sir. What is your name?
Hi, I'm Mark.
Mark, how are you? Good haircut,
I'm a
Mark.
first-year student at San Diego State, so I appreciate the shout-out.
Go beer bongs.
Nice. Hey, Mark,
That's
let
what
me
you guys
ask
are.
you
You're
the
the fighting beer bongs, right?
Does San Diego State have a mascot or
The Aztecs, yeah.
the Aztecs?
Yeah.
An entire race of people?
It's problematic at best, yeah.
What is going on in San Diego?
A lot of drinking, a lot of
Sure.
smoking.
Yeah. You do realize the Aztecs as a culture is just gone. Not a great mascot.
Well, we're trying to keep them alive this year.
All right. Well, good for you. How are you? What's your question?
My question is just what is your favorite James Bond knockoff?
Oh, actually, I'm a big fan of In Like Flint.
Yeah?
I think In Like Flint's it's great. But, going back and watching, very recently, it was on one of the Showtimes, I was watching Austin Powers, the third one, and I was like, you know what? That movie makes me laugh. It's dumb, but it makes me laugh, and that's really all I want from anything. And it's funny, too, when you show people who haven't seen James Bond movies, like when you show them You Only Live Twice, and they go, holy shit, that guy's dressed just like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, I didn't know
And then you
any
have to
of
say to
that.
them,
Yeah.
no. Dr. Evil's dressed just like Blofeld.
I didn't get that.
Yep.
Yeah, I
You didn't get any of that. Don't worry
I
about
loved
it.
Austin Powers, and then I'm like, oh, it's like a thing, and then I'm referring to another thing. Okay, got it.
Do you guys, any other, or do you have a...
I mean, XXX State of the Union, of course.
Well, that's not bad. Yeah.
yeah. No, I think I'm going to go XXX.
Yeah, sure. You know what else is good? Spy Hard. Spy Hard's actually pretty great. Leslie
good
Nielsen.
theme song from Weird Al.
Yep, Weird Al did the theme song. But yeah, that's my answer for you. Thank you.
All right,
Thank you for
thanks.
being here. Appreciate it. Hello, sir. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine, thank you.
What is your name?
My name's Nathan. I'm a third year in UC Irvine. Not as prestigious as San Diego State, but
UC Irvine's okay. I dated a girl from there once.
Yeah, I know.
Wasn't great.
All your dorms are named after places in Middle Earth, right?
there's one section called Middle Earth, and there are like several sections several buildings named after that.
Is the other section Narnia?
No, something else.
Okay.
Something else, not as a
Okay,
part.
I understand. What's your question?
First of all, one anecdote. I was like so excited for this podcast panel to come out. I was hoping that this would be Friday because I'm going to be the only day here.
Nice. Glad we
And
could
second of all,
accommodate.
I was one of those guys who said, Dr. Evil's dressing. Both just like Dr. Evil. What the? Okay, so my question is for Matt and Jordan. What do you think? I'm sure that you covered this, but I have forgotten. But what is your opinion on Timothy Dalton? Because Timothy Dalton's my favorite James Bond of all time. So
Timothy Dalton is your favorite James Bond of all time?
yeah, come on, he's very dark. Come on.
I don't even think Timothy Dalton enjoys Timothy Dalton in James Bond. I'm pretty sure he looks himself in the mirror and goes, what the fuck were you thinking?
Living Daylights was so
We
awesome.
haven't even gotten to
Yeah.
License to Kill
Yeah.
yet, but I watched it, and I took notes. That movie is so bad. That movie's awful. First of all, Nathan, I'm going to hang on for a second, Jordan. I gotta talk some sense into my buddy Nathan here. He's balding in the first movie. Okay? Now, Connery, they fixed it. They put a rug on him. No problem. Great. He looks great in a rug.
give you
Timothy
that.
Dalton doesn't take the advice and get a rug. So I'm already upset with him. Secondly, here's where the movie lost me completely. It's a reaction to every movie in the 80s. So what they did was they were like, oh, this Roadhouse thing's pretty popular. That's doing okay.
Does Bond just break a lot of pool cues on people?
Yes, he does. There's a Roadhouse bar fight. Then you're like, oh, well, you know what else is pretty big right now? How about these ninja movies? Let's arbitrarily, for no reason, throw a ninja in the movie.
I got something
And then
after
he
that.
shows up dressed like he's a background character in Street Fighter. Like, he's not even he's wearing a blue ninja outfit. Blue! Like it's powder blue terry cloth.
Why haven't you
Like,
had
it's
us watch
ridiculous.
this, Matt? This sounds amazing.
No.
I want to watch this
You
one.
guys might love it.
I think I would love it.
You guys might love it.
This sounds
There's a
One note.
drug lord. They're like, Scarface was huge. Let's do a movie about coke.
Oh dear.
One note: Living Daylights is my favorite James Bond.
Living Daylights is not a terrible movie.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that he spends the last half of it helping Al Qaeda.
But that was the point. That was the story.
Yeah, he didn't know at the time, but I think he did. But Nathan, now, how do you feel about Timothy Dalton?
Yeah, I had similar feelings from you, than you. I feel the same way as you do, Matt. Yeah, I mean, I feel like you saying Timothy Dalton is the best James Bond is like that buddy of yours who's like, that Johnny Depp Lone Ranger movie was pretty good. People shit on it, but it was pretty good. I don't know. Are you just being contrary to be contrary?
No, that's what I really think. But the only reason why is because I really like Living Daylights. Living Daylights is like my Goldfinger, essentially. So
Okay.
That's
I
why.
respect that.
No, I mean, I think
that's my favorite name check in any of the movies.
That's
like when he
but I mean,
says it
License
must
to
have
Kill
scared
is like
the
something
living daylights
else.
out of her.
I can give you License to Kill, but do not get me on Living Daylights.
Listen, I like Living Daylights quite a bit, so you're okay, Nathan. Don't worry. You'll get through it. You'll have a good sleep
And
tonight.
I think James Bond is one of those things. It's like the first Bond you see is your Bond, and you kind of compare all the other ones, and whatever the first one is, you kind of get an emotional attachment to. So I think it's easy for us to poo-poo someone else's Bond.
Whenever you
that was
feel-
GoldenEye, by the way, for me.
Yeah, what, that was GoldenEye for you? That was your first one you saw?
Yeah.
Not bad. Martin Campbell. That's a good job.
Famke Jensen kills men with her thighs.
She sure does. Thank you. Sir, you have a question. What is your name?
My name is Sean, and to keep with the collegiate theme, I'm a graduate of the Westwood Institute of Technology.
This is fantastic. This is like the opposite of what you see during a football game. The Ohio State University. We're all like, San Diego State Mercenary School, Comic-Con. Anyway, go ahead. What is your question?
Basically, I just also, before I say what I came up here to say, I just realized that I'm essentially the portrait of Dorian Gray of you, Mr. Matt Myra, because the longer you've been on Nerdist, you've lost weight.
Yeah.
I've gained weight.
Yeah.
And a beard.
Yeah.
So
you're gonna put on about 30 more pounds.
Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to it.
No, yeah. I just want you to know that. I'm not done.
I just want to say,
Wait, so if I pinched Matt, would you feel it?
I don't know.
Is that how it works?
Wait, is that how the painting works? I don't think the painting ever goes out.
I just want to say,
I don't understand paintings.
I, for one, when I listened to the original Goldfinger episode, I really enjoyed your guys' reactions to it.
Thank you.
I really did. Because
half the
you know,
audience.
that's the separation of real fandom of this. Like, you also have to take it with a grain of salt, and like, just because you like it doesn't mean everyone's going to like it. And it's interesting to get a different person's point of view on it. So I really did like your episode.
One with a
That is so
vagina.
delightfully sensible. Isn't
And-
what a guy?
And that's also why I don't post things on the internet or in comment sections.
Sir, if you came up to me and said, "Do I post things on the internet?" I would have just looked at you and said, "Yes, you post things on the internet."
I have
Thank
a face
you.
that
Thank you for teaching me not to judge a book by my cover.
And I just want to ask, are we going to get any more 1990 high fives?
1990 high five.
That has to be my... I listened to every single episode of Thrilling Adventure Hour,
Yeah.
every single Nerdist podcast, every Indoor Kids, every James Bonding. That is my single favorite anything.
That was
Is
actually
1990 high five.
there are two podcasts I've walked out of and gone, that was so much fucking fun. One was the Will Arnett episode of The Nerdist, and the other one, thank you guys. And the other one was that episode that we did with Gorley and Craig Rowan, and that I thank you for liking that. That was like, we just did that for us, and I'm glad you guys liked it.
That and the Matt and Jonah after show.
Matt and Jonah after show's a lot of fun too. Yeah. As soon as Craig is back in town, we will put out another 1990 high five.
Thank God. Thank you. Bless you all.
Thank you, sir. We have to keep this going quickly. So, guys, fast questions are great because I have to get to the gentleman I gave $50 to eventually. Your question, sir.
Hi, I just wanted to go to Allie and ask, what do you think was what was going through the mind of Lashif's girlfriend during the whole your portion of the movie and everything? Like, what do you think?
Who was she?
Lashif
was the
was
blonde that
the
got her arm
eye
was
bleeding
cut off.
gentleman.
Oh yeah. What
Why
was?
would you stay with him?
You mean? And then there was a piano wire, and they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, we're gonna
They
kill her."
tricked her. That was weird. Right?
Yeah,
Like, cut her arm off or don't, but don't trick her into it. Like and she's like, "Oh, silly me, I was scared." But they didn't do it.
What Georgia said.
Silly me, I was
think
scared.
maybe betrayal.
Betrayal. Okay. It's a
I
good
would say
emotion.
she was probably like, I should have just gone out with the guy that my mom wanted to set me up with, who was the neighbor's friend. She's like, why did I date this guy? She's probably, wrong lady, wrong time.
I have been given the one more question sign. I know.
Who gets it?
Guys, this is my kind of crowd.
All right.
Thank
Good
you
crowd.
guys. I'll talk to you guys afterwards.
Delightful.
Sir,
Oh,
go.
by the way, thank you for the $50. I'd just like to say
You're
that.
very welcome.
And now I'm going to be a dick and explain to you why a ninja would be wearing blue.
Okay, go, please. Tell me why ninjas are wearing blue.
Ninjas wouldn't wear black because if it was a completely black outline on the moon, then it would completely give it away. So, I just like to say that.
Thank you for that information. That is excellent information. You are raising your child correctly, sir.
Now, the moderator held up one more question. How many more ninja facts can we do?
You're great. Seriously, use that $50 to buy something. Are you here for the rest of the weekend, you guys? Or are you coming back? Or are you just going to buy something at, like, some other store? Oh yeah, so you gotta pace yourself, buddy. You can't kill it on the first day of a con. These are the lessons you're gonna learn in life. First day of a con, you just sort of go in, walk the floor once, get out. You just go in, walk it once, get out. Don't just breathe through your mouth. Breathe through your mouth. That's the key.
Sweat.
Breathe through your mouth. Sweat. Rockstar energy. Sugar-free Rockstar. Do it. And then you're ready.
Personal pizza.
Personal pan pizza.
Can I say one thing, though? We didn't really get to the arc of it, but I will say that I enjoy this one much more than Goldfinger, and I do appreciate how the franchise does empower women more throughout the year. So I will say that. I will go on record and say they're doing a better job, and I commend them for being less misogynistic. Georgia, same? Ditto. Yep.
Well done, Georgia. So I just wanted to say, let me thank Allie Ward and Georgia Hardstar.
Thank you.
My name is pronounced Myra. Kumail just decided to write Mira on this to annoy me. Thank you also to Jordan Morris. Thank you all very much for sitting through the first live James Bonding without my co-host. You've been fantastic, and we'll see you around the con floor.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.